Welcome to It's the Economy. Larsen & Toubro recently announced that it is carving out its renewable EPC business out of its overall power T&D vertical and its utilities vertical. What are the reasons for this carve-out? Is there a separate listing being planned, considering that power companies and their utilities are doing so well? What is the state of the Indian and, more importantly, even the global solar power industry, where we believe there is overcapacity? For all these questions, I'm joined by Mr. T. Madhav Das, the whole-time director and senior executive vice president in charge of utilities at L&T. Mr. Madhav Das, thank you very much indeed for sparing time for us. First, if you can take us through this carving out of the renewable EPC business as a separate vertical, what does it mean and what is the reason?
Thank you very much, Lata, for having me on this show. And it's a privilege to speak on this. And as we have been incubating this solar business under T&D for pretty long, we have been executing some huge projects. We have been building up our credentials, and in the last few years, we have delivered some marquee projects across international as well as domestic scenario. So this helped us to scale up our operations, build up an ecosystem which can constantly, on a sustainable basis, deliver projects of large scale. This, coupled with the fact that energy transition is one of the key factors which can bring about huge impact on climate change, and with the advancement of huge technology, both in solar and storage batteries, I think the renewable generation has become a reality. It is only going to grow leaps and bounds as we go forward. And hence, since we had incubated this business and we decided to separate it out from the transmission and distribution and give an identity of its own, so that there is clear leadership oversight, there is clear customer proximity. At the same time, there is good amount of skill building that is required to be done, and it brings in a large amount of focus. And the clientele base also is slightly different when compared to the T&D, and hence we decided that this will bring much more focus in the way we deliver these large-scale projects.
No, I take your point, sir. In fact, I was going through some Bloomberg data, and apparently solar and wind together have accounted for 91% of the additional capacity in 2023, and of that, solar itself has accounted for over 70% of the additional capacity. I can imagine that you are getting a lot of business there, but more from the point of view of your investors here, will you look at listing it separately, since power companies are doing so well?
No, I think we will still be a part of the infrastructure segment of Larsen & Toubro, and I think there are no immediate plans for listing. However, if you see the way Larsen & Toubro has been going about its green portfolio, we have brought more attention onto the renewable EPC. We have created a green energy segment so that there's clear focus on hydrogen as well as on electrolyzer manufacturing. At the same time, our infrastructure of heavy civil has been doing pump storage. So we have been giving a very great emphasis on green energy, because this is the real way of energy transition which can bring about reality into the world. And hence, within the group of L&T in the infrastructure, there is a clear focus that we should concentrate on green energy, but there's no immediate plans for listing.
Okay. Well, there was another interpretation I heard from the market that probably the renewable business is largely focused abroad and probably in the Middle East, and it has margins which are lower than the margins of the rest of L&T. Is that a reason to carve it out?
No, let me put it this way. The renewables business has grown to a size which requires very heavy oversight. Okay. At the same time, today we have 15 gigawatt of projects under various stages of execution. And hence, it is absolutely necessary that the clients understand that L&T is giving very good focus on this growing business area. That was one part of it. At the same time, we have a large portfolio of this being done in international market, where the clients are slightly different and they require a huge focus. So we brought about. On the margins, I don't see any difference. I think we have been doing well, and it is among the L&T portfolio, it is with a reasonable amount of margins. I don't see anything which pulls it down.
Okay, excellent. So that clears some misconceptions then. What about getting into solar module manufacturing itself? The government is giving a lot of incentives there, you know, that AMLL rule, import duty, tariffs. Will that be something that you will venture into?
No, I think that is a decision which we have taken. We will not be getting into solar module manufacturing at this stage. I think our focus is more on green hydrogen electrolyzer manufacturing. And going forward, we are keeping the options open for battery manufacturing, especially for storage, as this will dovetail into the renewable capacity addition, which is along with solar. I think this is something which will be required. So we are keeping our options open on battery there.
Oh.
This is the way we look at it.
Okay. So that at least helps you escape the ups and downs in the solar module industry.
Perfect,
But
yes.
any thoughts on the module industry itself? Not just modules, the entire chain, we believe, is now going through a bit of an overcapacity globally. Does that affect you all in any way in terms of orders, in terms of receivables?
Today, the way it is structured, most of these projects, I think the clients also step in when we do these sort of projects, and hence, I think this, from a developer point of view, this is a boom time for them because they find the module cost at the lowest, and hence large capacities of jobs are coming up in the Middle East, which we are targeting. And with this overcapacity, the supply also, there is no pressure. So hence the projects are getting executed much faster. So I think there is a upside on this condition. So people are making use of it actually.
Okay. Now, can you tell us how it is impacting order book? While, of course, execution is very good, does it taper off in terms of order book? What did you all start with in terms of order book in power EPC, and will you likely whittle it down at all?
No, let me put it this way. The T&D segment remains to be the backbone of one of our verticals within L&T, because this was where we incubated the solar business.
Yes.
And the power transmission backlog itself is close to around about, within the infrastructure segment, close to 45 to 50,000 crores of T&D pure, which is spread over India and domestic, leaving the renewables aside.
Okay.
And in renewables, as I told today, we have a clear backlog of 15 gigawatt peak of jobs under construction, which is a very large portfolio in terms of value. And the way we see with the Middle East giving very heavy emphasis on solar projects across the whole Middle East, Government of India giving huge emphasis on 50 to 60 gigawatt pipelines of project every year, or there is sustainable way we see a large number of projects going to come up in the next decade. And hence we see a continuous business available for renewables.
Can you put some numbers? What was the order book like in FY23? What is it likely to grow to?
Okay, I think on that's why I said I am going by gigawatt. I didn't want to put a number.
Fair enough.
Way back in, let me put it this way, when we started this business in 20, we had around about 2 to 3 gigawatt of business going on. And today we have scaled it up to a backlog of around about 15 gigawatt after completing 4 to 5 large projects. And hence, this will be the range of order book as we go forward, because there will be continuous commissioning of projects, at the same time an inflow of projects coming in.
Okay. Could you just give numbers for FY24 and FY25? How much is the order book?
So at FY24, it would be, the way I see, we were close to around about 7 to 8 gigawatt, and FY25, we will close at around about 15 gigawatt.
Oh, okay. So that's a sizable, it's a doubling
Yes.
of your order book. Okay. Can you throw some light on the, capacity, demand, supply dynamics in India itself? We just heard murmurs that there is already, solar capacity more than DISCOMs are willing to, evacuate. Is there any fear like that?
See, the way central agencies are going about putting the transmission infrastructure, there is no hesitancy at all. There is a whole plethora of projects which has come out, especially in the last 2 to 3 months. Further, there are at least 30 to 40,000 crores worth transmission line projects already lined up to do the evacuation. And hence, I do not see any hesitancy in terms of the transmission infrastructure not coming up. So that first takes care of the evacuation of projects, which is 100% in pipeline, with some of the HVDC links also being looked upon. So we do see a complete clear pipeline available for the transmission. And then comes the distribution side of it. Yes, on the distribution side, there has to be a little more, modernization to be done to ensure that this reaches the last minute point. And I think green energy is going to be a way of life. So hence, I think this could be a transition phase where people will have to start looking at, most of the industries will start looking at using green energy, and hence the boom will come back. Boom will be there, is what we feel.
Okay. Actually, you are best placed to tell us about, all aspects of the power sector. So if you can give us an idea, by when do you think storage capacity will be sizable in India? By when do you think green hydrogen will become a reality? Are we looking at 3 years out? Are we looking at 5 years out? Just draw the power scene for us, say, 3 years from now.
See, the way the capacity addition of storage of renewables as well as coal-based nuclear is going on, I think that has got a very clear trajectory as we go forward. We don't see any issue on it. The most key aspect is when we have the variable generation from renewables. The most important thing that happens is to have a clear visibility on the pump storage as well as on the battery storage, because this is something which will ensure that the smoothing of power takes place. And we have been seeing a lot of activities happening on this front. Suddenly we see a lot of emphasis being given on pump storage. L&T itself is doing 2 pump storage in the market today, in India today. And there is a lot more clear focus by the government also in projects that are coming up. We ourselves have nearly 1,000 megawatt hour of projects, nearly about 750 megawatt hours of projects lined up in India for storage battery coming up. So it is picking up. So the way we see within 2 to 3 years, this coupled with the fact that the battery prices across the globe has come down, the way module prices has come down, it is coming to a level which will make it very viable. There will be a lot more push on to round the clock sort of energy requirement, which will require batteries also to come up in a big way. So I think this will pick up. This is a trend in India. Abroad, we suddenly see standalone battery packages coming up from the clients who wants to put 2 to 3 gigawatt hour of battery at a single place to ensure that these solars are, it has got a smoothing on the solar thing and the night time. So this is 100% sure that it will pick up. This along with pump storage would be the long-term way the government is looking at it. And this is happening here in India also today.
Okay. Well, at the moment, the UAE Crown Prince is in India for talks, and the CEPA is being reviewed. They've also signed up even for nuclear projects in India. Is there any headline from Larsen in these, conversations? Are you all picking up more projects?
Abu Dhabi and UAE has been a pretty large ground for T&D for L&T. We have been doing multiple jobs across Dubai for DEWA, Abu Dhabi. We are now just starting a 400 kV large substation for them. We are doing the solar park of 2 gigawatt in DEWA 6 going on. So for us, UAE has been a very important marketplace for Larsen & Toubro in T&D and in renewables. And the way they have a very progressive outlook. We are very sure that the next 5 to 8 years, there are going to be huge amount of business for us there.
Okay. For one moment, just don't wear your utilities hat, but wear the overall L&T board member hat and tell us, would you all want to increase your either order book guidance or your margin guidance for the full year, going by the increased interest?
I think at this stage, we will be a little cautious in changing any numbers, because I think the first 6 months decides the trajectory on how we will go. And I think it's a matter of few more months that we will be coming out with our market analysis, and we will be giving that to the market.
Oh, yeah. I guess in 6 weeks, you will have your second quarter numbers. We will wait for that. Thank you very much, Mr. Madhav Das, for giving us an idea of L&T's renewable energy plans and the reasons for the carve-out. Thank you very much for sparing time with us.
It was a pleasure talking to CNBC and to you, Lata. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that's the word coming in from Larsen & Toubro. The reasons for the special carve-out is not listing, which is what the market was interested in, nor is it lower margins, as some of the pessimists were putting it. It's simply because it has become a very big business and they want to give it special attention. That's the word from Larsen & Toubro. Thank you very much for watching this edition of